I produce a none of the above television show. We're going to try a new concept here where we're going to do little 3 to 5 minute bursts of information to share with people, and we're going to post that on YouTube. I'm told millennials can't sit through my show for 30 minutes, but they can definitely make it for 3 to 5. So if you're a millennial out there, we're going to give you a quick 3 to 5 minute hit here and hopefully teach you something. Our show is about learning. It's about getting you engaged in the political system and learning and getting active in the world. So we just finished a terrific interview with Snigdha Poonam, who's written a great book, Dreamers, How Young Indians Are Changing the World. And we've done this because we talk about demographics on the show. We talk about where your generation, the millennials, are going to take this world next. And Snigdha has studied this problem in India, where her generation is going next. And you need to know this. We're an interconnected world, and the people in India want to take your jobs, so you got to be aware of that. So we're going to do a quick interview with Snigdha and give you some insight into what's going on in her world, and hopefully convince you to either switch over and watch the half-hour interview, or rather than that, pick up the book and totally get immersed in this. So you've written a great book. What gave you the idea to write the book?
I mean, India has 1.2 billion people. Half of those people are under the age of 35. That makes them the largest number of young people of any country anywhere in the world. And here's the thing, I mean, this generation of young Indians is going through a very peculiar time. I mean, from the larger forces of globalization to very specific interventions like the smartphones, their worlds have been completely turned over. And so they don't care about where they live any longer. I mean, a 20-year-old in Indore has the same access to information as a 20-year-old in Iowa, and they want the same things. But at the same time, India is going through a very difficult economic period with really widespread joblessness. 1 million Indians enter the workforce every month. About 10,000 end up getting jobs. So
And we talked about that statistic on the show. 1 million come to the market every month, and 10,000 jobs only for that market. So why not get on the internet and steal jobs from all the rest of the world and sell products all the rest of the world and take over the world, right?
Of course. Why don't get on a phone call and convince an old American lady somewhere in Midwest that her taxes haven't been paid for 2 years, and she needs to pay $1,000 in iTunes cards right away. And that's what we were talking about. In 2016 in Mumbai, the FBI and the local police raided a 6-story call center and arrested 700 youngsters, all of them 19 to 23, who had been impersonating IRS agents and had scammed Americans of no less than hundreds of millions of dollars.
So your book is a little scary in that regard, but it's not totally scary. You traveled around, you interviewed 100 people or so. What's the takeaway for the audience today? What do you want them to know about this generation of India and where they're going?
Which is that if these hundreds of millions of people suddenly have these dreams that no one in their country or the world is prepared for, then they carve out their own world in which they can do what they want to do, in which how well you do depends on how badly you want to do well. And they have very inventive, very ingenious ways of chasing money and success and influence and popularity in this world. And the 7 people featured in this book, each of the book's 7 chapters follows the journey of one. They take several ways of reaching those dreams. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, some of them are good and mean good things for the world. Some of them are bad and mean really bad things for the world. But so there's in the book, I mean, I guess I found reasons to be hopeful, and I found reasons to be really terrified.
But I think if you're sitting here in America and reading your book, you're giving great insight into where this country's headed next. And we've talked about perhaps China is an economic engine. Your country has more potential to be an economic engine and develop this generation perhaps in any other country in the world. And you point out that at some point relatively soon there will be more English-speaking people in India than any country in the world.
Anywhere in the world.
So your country is poised to really break out and hopefully do great things.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we hope you enjoyed our first ever 3 to 5 minute run here. I didn't watch the clock, so I don't know if we made it to 3 minutes or not. But pick up the book, learn what's going on in the world. Just don't worry about your little corner of the world. There's a big world out there, and I did some quick math. I think between India and China alone, and Bangladesh and some of the other countries, we're talking about almost half the population of the world. So you owe it to yourself to find out what half the population of the world is doing now, and more importantly, what half the population of the world is about to do to you if you don't keep up with them. Thank you.